push-ups. I've been doing sit-ups. I've been doing chin-ups. I've been doing pull-ups. I threw up once, but I'm okay now.
Oh, and welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to a Wednesday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley and the GOAT, Richie Giuliano, with you for this Wednesday. Rich, I know you're pulling double duty. I know you've talked a lot of volleyball. I can promise you this. We're not going to do it here in this hour because you guys covered it from pillar to post, upside down. I mean, it was like pineapple cake, man. You guys had everything covered in the volleyball world.
Oh, we really did. That's for sure. You know, I'm excited to move on to football. I got some soccer sprinkled in there. So, you know, postseason's coming up for those two sports, but, you know, this is a big week for high school football. There's a couple of matchups that could shake things up in our power rankings and overall in the region rankings. So, you know, I'm happy to dive into that here in our 3 o'clock show.
And here's the best part about it. We don't have to answer to anybody because the power rankings were Monday. I saved the computer points for you, my friend, because I know you love it. You nerd out with all these computer points. So excited to have it. And see, you're getting calls already.
My mom's calling me.
Oh, man.
See, what stinks is I have my laptop hooked up to my phone. So everything I get through my phone, I get through my laptop.
I have that too, except for my phone's over
I don't know how to get rid of it.
Well, you have to, I think it's do not disturb. If you put on do not disturb, you're good.
Okay, I'm going to do that.
But while you do that, we're going to do on this day in sports history. Here we go. This could be a little bit of a go-getter here, Richard. Because on this day in sports history, 1992, Bret the Hitman Hart beats Ric Flair for the WWF heavyweight title. One is, woo, the Nature Boy. And the other one is the best there ever is, the best there ever was, and the best there ever will be. So my question to you, my friend, who is the greatest professional wrestler of all time?
Randy Orton.
Randy Orton.
I love Randy Orton. He's got the best theme song. I love it. I loved, you know, honestly, I was going to say Randy Orton, Triple H. I love Triple H when he spit the water out every time he came in. And then one I loved when I was growing up was The Undertaker.
Now you're talking.
The Undertaker was a scary man.
Now you're cooking with peanut oil, my friend, because The Undertaker is one of the greatest of all time. Not only from a standpoint of actual wrestling and in the ring, but outside the ring, one of the most respected dudes ever.
See, I always thought that like John Cena was like overrated.
Oh, you're going to die.
John Cena was great, but I just couldn't stand the publicity that he got. Like he was almost like the Yankees of WWE.
He's the Hulk Hogan of our generation.
It was just so much that I just almost couldn't stand it anymore. It was just like I almost wanted him to lose.
Next time I see you, you're getting an attitude adjustment.
You know what I'm saying? Like he just had so much publicity. It was like everywhere you went, every show was about John Cena. And I get it. He was a great character and he was a great wrestler, but like it was almost just like stuffing it down your throat like last night.
Gosh. That made me more upset than I thought it would.
And you're not even a Guardians fan.
No, well, not that at all. But it was, I'm a huge John Cena guy. Huge Cena, huge Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Randy Savage. And then the NWO. I was an NWO guy for life. So will always be. But Hulk Hogan's my guy. Like if Hulk Hogan died right now, there would be man tears coming down between the glasses in my face. It would happen. I'd cry.
Going to the funeral?
I'd go. I'd hands down. I'd probably be the only local reporter there. Do you still watch wrestling at all?
No, I gave it up.
Z's getting into it, so I'm trying to get him
Mm-hmm.
hooked. And they have a character named Bray Wyatt that just came back. I don't know if you know him, but he's kind of like the Undertaker, like the next generation, like the bad guy, and has weird stuff happen. It's kind of weird. So it might be a little dark for him, but we're trying to cut this is real and this is pretend, kind of in half.
Yeah.
So we're having fun with it. He's loving it. I mean, all the kid wants to do is wrestle now, and he says Uncle Richie's going to go down 3 count.
All right, we'll have a little wrestling match. Bring him down to HQ.
I'll bring him down. You don't want him. He's a wild man. He jumps on the couches already. Amos says Batista was his guy. That doesn't surprise me at all.
That reminds me of like me when I was a kid. You know, me and a couple of buddies, we were big into WWE, and we actually had I actually had costumes of like WWE characters. Like,
oh yeah,
it was awesome.
Yeah, it's really embarrassing whenever you're 30 plus years old and you still have John Cena t-shirts and shorts. I don't know who might have that. You mentioned a little bit of the game last night. Walk me through it. Your I guess peaks and valleys of the Guardians and Yanks.
What was fun was being able to watch the first 7 innings at the Golden Dawn. After Steve, Quinn, and Romo got done doing all those interviews, I was helping them out, just posting them on the website and getting everything done. But, being able to sit there and watch that game in front of a crowd, I'm used to watching things by myself, and you really don't control yourself. You say whatever you want, you run around and scream. And when you're watching in a controlled environment like that, you almost have to watch what you say, because the people around you don't want to offend. And it was different. I thought, they got off to a great start with Quan hitting the home run into right. And then, Quantrill came out. They hit him pretty good, but, he looked calm and collected. He was able to get judged to strike out twice. I'm like, you know what? We're in a good spot. Bader hits the home run to left. I'm like, that's all right. You're going to hit a solo home run now and then. We'll be all right. But, what killed Cleveland is when you have the bases loaded with 1 out and you can't manufacture a run. That's when I was a little bit worried, because I'm like, all the momentum goes back to New York. Garrett Cole's starting to settle in, because we hit him pretty well in the first 4 or 5 innings. And then after that, when they go to the bullpen, it's good night. And we obviously had trouble with the big bats, Rizzo going deep, and it's going to happen. I mean, I'm not really upset with that loss. I thought we played competitive against one of the best teams in baseball. So we got our ace going on tomorrow night. I feel confident that he's able to get it back to Cleveland, where we could hopefully at least take 1 before you come back home.
We're going to spin it around real quick. Here we go with the Joe Dickey Electric. What's your spark? We're going to lead off with this.
Oh, yeah.
I got some passionate words for some people. Here we go. Maybe. It's the Joe Dickey Electric. What's your spark? Presented by our friends at Joe Dickey Electric. Visit them on the web at DickeyElectric.com. Anything commercial, residential, anything electrical, you need to get to Joe Dickey Electric today. All right, Richie. I got to watch most of that game at Legends. The transfer from Boardman to East Palestine, I got hammy. And then I get home. I'm excited because Bob Costas is one of my favorite announcers of all time. I have so much respect for him. I love him. I've got his books. One of the major reasons I got into broadcasting was listening to the 1995 World Series or watching, I guess, on NBC. And Bob Costas was part of the 3-man team with Bob Uecker, coincidentally. And I get home and I pop on TBS, and it was the worst just broadcasting I'd seen in a long time. And that includes us. And Bob Costas was like what I imagine it sounds like watching paint dry. It was.
He just sounded like he didn't want to be there.
It was like he had things loaded. I mentioned it sounded like a video game, like the old school video game, like Madden, like when it first came out, and everything was predetermined when you talked about it. He stunk. I mean, the one-liner at the end, like he set himself up. That's the last straw for the Indians or for the Guardians tonight. Like, really? Did you just pop your own? Like,
I like the line. I think just the way he delivers everything just isn't there.
it's so slow. Listen, if
It's
there's a
almost
game,
like you're announcing to like old people.
right?
It's like very slow. The sentences are structured. They sound correct, but there's just no enthusiasm.
And I get it. He's a baseball guy, and I am too, and that's why I love him. But he stunk up the joint last night. Whoever he was with, and I apologize for not knowing him because he was just as bad. It was like they took plays off. They were just like two old guys sitting at Yankee Stadium enjoying a baseball game and forgot they were doing a broadcast.
Yeah.
That's what it was to me. And I'm sitting there like, and then, like even when Kwon hit his home run,
Nothing.
it was crickets. This is what it was.
And Quan goes deep. Home run. Cleveland leads.
Cleveland leads again.
Yeah, that's literally how he sounded. Like, just very
everything
short
was.
sentences.
Yeah, like it was like he was narrating Star Wars.
It was
I'm
weird.
like, dude, if you're not excited about this, and then you have the other polar opposite. You go to the Astros game. Did you hear that call?
That was awesome.
The best call I've heard in a long time. And I'm sitting like, send that guy to TBS.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Watching the Mariners Astros game, I'm like, this game is awesome. Like, it was so enthusiastic. Like, for them to come back down 5, hit a home run, and then a home run in the 9th inning to win it down to your final strike.
Yeah.
And then you watch the New York game, and it was just like blah. It didn't even feel like a playoff game.
No, it felt, yeah.
It was weird.
There's something missing.
Yeah.
The announcer, obviously. Dude's got Emmys. He's in, I believe he's in the Hall of Fame. But like, was that a Hall of Fame performance last night?
No.
I don't think so. And I said in my message, I said, where's Joe Buck? People can tell me, listen, I know there's a certain passion of hatred that people of Cleveland have for Joe Buck because of the Chicago series in 2016. Joe Buck is without a doubt one of the greatest announcers of all time.
I probably would have preferred to have Joe Buck than Bob Costas last night.
Hands down.
This was just as bad with the Yankees. He knew everything about the Yankees, and then, of course you're going to know Cleveland's the youngest team in baseball. Everybody gets these headlines, but like, there was no deep dive into Cleveland.
Now, Hammy, which I know you love, that's your guy, and I'm a huge fan of Hammy.
He hates New York too.
Yeah,
even better.
Like listening to him last night, and he does it solo for the most part. I think he had some help in the extras on Saturday. But what I thought was interesting was he still talks more solo than those two Giacomos did the entire night.
Yeah, he's the best.
And there was more information in that. It was incredible.
Yeah. No, he's great. I mean, shows the preparation he does before every game. And not that Bob Costas and them didn't do information, because they did. They talked
too much.
Yeah, it's like almost like too much on the Yankees. It was just like, what in the, like, what this guy's freaking underwear looks like for this game.
Aaron Judge's jock size. Click. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. But I thought that was I thought it was terrible. I don't have a dog in the fight. I appreciate the Guardians. I would go to a Guardians game. I appreciate if Cleveland wins it, I'm happy. I'm excited. Well done. Because they've done it the right way. They're like $45 million.
Yeah.
Less than everybody else in the playoffs. I mean, that's incredible.
Oh, yeah. New York's one player is worth our entire roster.
Yeah. And knowing that I'll never see Pittsburgh probably in the playoffs, let alone the World Series ever again. Go Guards. That's what I say. Go Guards.
Yeah.
So that being said, how much would you pay for a ticket to the World Series if the Guardians were in it?
I made this mistake in 2016 because I had tickets lined up, and my brother and I were ready to pull the trigger. They were over 1,000, which was a lot to
A
me.
piece or individually or together?
A piece. But I had the money. I did have it, but we didn't pull the trigger because at the time that 1,000 was about 75% of what I had. Because I wasn't working,
Yeah,
I was young.
you're
I
in
was
school.
in high school. So I was like, I have the money. I really want to do this. But we didn't end up doing it. And I regret it to this day.
So you do it, no problems.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm already supposed to go Sunday. Well, I don't know. Because Josh, my brother, bought the tickets accidentally. So he wanted to go to the wild card game 2. He went on the Guardians website. He bought ALDS home game 2. So it's Sunday if we get to that point against New York. But he's got school on Monday night back at Ohio State, and they announced that the game time against New York on Sunday is a 7:00 game.
Ooh, baby.
So we were supposed to go, him and I, but now he wants to sell the tickets because obviously he doesn't want to drive from.
You can get some mad money for those, I bet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But I told him, just sell them to me. I'll take them.
Who are you going to take?
I don't know. I'll take my mom.
There you go. Good son right there.
You want to go?
Good son. Good son. I'm proud of you for that right there.
We'll see. I mean, I'll take whoever.
Don't say whoever. I just gave you a shout out for being a good son. Then you're going to, yeah, I'll take whoever.
Steve and myself will go.
Oh, Lord help you.
That?
No. Lord help you. That'd be
amazing.
Steve would be wandering around Progressive Field for half the You'd have to call him in like the Canfield Fair at the Rooster. Steve, meet me at the Larry Doby statue.
At the Big Rock.
All right, you ready to talk about some football?
Oh, I'm ready to go.
All right, Big Cat. You know how this goes. I've got the whatever it is, the graphic. Thanks to Mike Swinehart for hooking us up as always. Has the Hogan Slam thing been up the entire time?
No, I just put it up.
Oh, okay. We got the graphic from Mikey. I put it in PDF form so we can see it a little better now. So you and I are going to shrink. I know that. I got to see how this goes. There we go.
There you go.
I hope people can see that. Can you see that?
I can see it clear, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to click off of this so I can see it a little better because my eye's a little worse. And we're going to start at the bottom. And still, when you look at this, you see all that red. That means that these are teams that if the playoffs started right now, that they would be eliminated. And they're projected outside of, you see the orange side, they're projected outside of the top 16, which means they would be out, except for the Crestview Rebels are still alive, my friend, at 43 and 2.08 points. They are projected to finish the 16th seed in Region 21. They've got a game this week against Champion, at Champion, that obviously they've got to win to do that. And I think not only do the Rebels have their hands full, but Champion coming off of a tough stretch here, you know, that they've been really, really down. Camel beats them last week. Yeah. Do you like Crestview's odds right now on the outside looking in, but projected to finish in that last spot to take on the number one?
You know, it's really going to be tough because right now Crestview's 22nd in that region. So they would have to win both games for sure to even think about getting a 16 seed. And then you're really going to have a lot of dominoes fall in your favor when you look at it. Because there's a multitude of teams that are above you right now from 15 to 16 that are 3 and 5. So you're going to need a team like Pymatuning Valley, Independence, Tuslaw, and Chippewa not to win because they're ahead of them. But the strength of schedule, I think, helps Crestview a little bit with their win a couple weeks ago over Campbell and LeBray because Campbell just won. So that gave them points. Those secondary points were big for Crestview with a Campbell win over Champion. If they beat Champion, that would put them at then 3-5. And then if they beat Newton Falls, 4-5. So there is a slight chance they get in. But like I said, a lot of dominoes are going to have to fall in their favor with a lot of teams ahead of them having to lose.
Let's try to play catch up here. So 52 through 41, obviously with Crestview, just talking about them. LeBray out if it ended today. Leetonia out if it ended today. Orange out, ended today. Sebring, East Palestine, East Liverpool, Columbiana, St. John, McDonald, Grand Valley, Howland, Newton Falls, Waterloo, and Camel all out if it ended today. But if you look at the projections, the team outside of Crestview with the best chance outside looking in, Waterloo, who's projected to finish at number 19 in Region 21. Do you think Waterloo, who plays at McDonald this week, could somehow sneak in? Uh-oh.
I'm back.
Okay.
All right. So Waterloo has the best chance out of anybody else to make it, to probably get 16. Waterloo, they've had some impressive wins where a lot of us in our YSN pick'ems voted against Waterloo, and they were able to come back and win. Of course, losing to Springfield kind of hurt, but, Western Reserve was the big one. Looking back, everybody was like, wow, Western Reserve, able to beat them 27-24. I think that was a huge win to even get them in contention of making the top 16. It's going to be a really steep hill because they have Mineral Ridge to play in week number 10. I think that's going to be a tough game for them to win. So Waterloo, if they could beat Mineral Ridge, though, they're in because that will give them big time points. They're going to jump like Campbell and in Brooklyn, those teams that we were just talking about earlier against Crestview. So if they could pull off the big time upset in week number 10, they're going to be in.
All right, let's check this out. Youngstown East listed at number 40 with 2.78 points. They are out, projected to finish 21st in Region 13. Western Reserve out as it stands right now, projected to finish 19th. Wellsville out, projected to finish 20th. Niles out, projected to finish 20th in Region 13. Wyndham in and projected to finish number 14. And right now they're number 16 in D7 Region 25. They got a run up against Matthews at home. The Bombers, do you like their chances of not only sneaking in, but getting into possibly the 14th seed?
Yeah, Wyndham, I do like their chances. 16 right now. They got a tough Matthews game coming up, which is going to be very difficult to win. But, then they play Division 7 North Baltimore, who's 2-6 in week number 10. So I do like Wyndham having a 4-win season and sneaking into the playoffs. Behind them, you have Wellsville, and Wellsville's got an unbelievably tough game coming up against Valley Christian. Wellsville is probably going to get a win against Leetonia. So, that's going to be the Week 10 matchup to look for when you're looking at playoff seeding. If Wellsville is able to win, they can hop Wyndham. And if Wyndham is able to win, they hold their ground and they keep in the top 16. So those are two matchups to look for in week number 10 in Division 6.
Amos says their wins just aren't helping them through 2 wins, though 2 wins between 3 teams, needs Western Reserve to win out. It's tough skating for some of these smaller teams this year. It really is.
Yeah, you never want to put your playoff hopes in the hands of somebody else winning or losing, but that's kind of what it's come down to here in the last couple of weeks for a lot of these Division 7 and Division 6 schools.
Let's face it, if you have a losing record, that's what it's probably going to come down to.
Yeah,
right.
You need secondary points.
Yeah. Pie Valley, you already mentioned them, 3-5 on the year, 4.3 points. They're number 14 in D6, Region 21. They've got Toronto, and they are projected to be out. So Crestview, essentially, that answered our question. Crestview is going to take the place of Pie Valley, according to Drew Pasture. So it's very, very interesting. Pie Valley, a winnable game at Toronto. Toronto, very kind of up and down this year.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say. Pie Valley, a physical, very, very physical ball team. And they're listed at 33 for us here this week. Then you got Liberty. Liberty, they've got a lot going on right now, just a ton going on inside and off the field. 3-4 on the year, 4.89 points, listed as number 16 right now. So they are in by the skin of their teeth, and they think they're going to stay there at 16. For Liberty, it's just winning, you're in, right?
Yeah, I mean, beat LeBray this week, and you're pretty much in. You clinch that spot. Behind you is Champion, which they're not too far behind. But, like we talked about, Champion in Division 5 is going to have to play Brookfield in week number 10. So I do like Liberty's odds of sneaking into the playoffs and maybe getting that 16 seed. I don't see them going past 16 because you've got Smithville, who's 5-3 ahead of them, and I don't see Liberty knocking off Garfield in week 10. Therefore, they're most likely going to finish this season at 4 wins. So they're not going to be able to jump anybody, and I see them staying right there at 16.
Jackson Milton now 6-2 on the year, 5.4 points in the computer. Number 13, D6 Region 21. They got Springfield this week. Is that right? Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, it's Springfield is a different animal than they were the first 5 weeks, at least in my eyes. Jackson Milton projected to finish number 12. So they're going to have to win one of their 2 remaining games to get there, I imagine.
Yeah.
Springfield is going to be a tough task for Jackson Milton in my eyes.
What hurts Jackson Milton, you look at their record, they're 6-2, and you're probably wondering, why is Jackson Milton the 14 seed in this region? Well, that's because they have not beat a team yet, DJ, with a winning record.
Yep.
So the strength of schedule is killing the Blue Jays right now. And, if they beat Springfield, I think they clinch that spot in the playoffs because that'll be one of their best quality wins on the season. McDonald, who awaits them in week 10, they are 2-6 right now. So they need this one big, or Jackson Milton might be looming on the outside looking in week 10.
All right, we're going to cut through the next 10, and then we're going to take a break. So Lisbon, David Anderson High School, 5-3 on the year, a big win over Latonia to win the Spaghetti Bowl, 5.8 points in their favor. They are number 11, in Division 7, Region 25. They've got a game at United, which is going to be a challenging game for this program. They're projected to finish in the 11th spot, which is right where they are right now.
Yep.
So basically, you maybe split the next 2 if you're lucky, and you go for broke. Because who's the week 10 game, Rich?
Week 10, they've got Columbiana, so winnable game in week 10.
A winnable game, of course, and then not only slip into the playoffs, but you're pretty good in that 11 seed. I like Lisbon in that 11 seed. I think they're going to give some trouble to some higher seeds. Trevor Sifke up for your big dogs of the Valley this week. So just crossed over the 1,000-yard barrier on Friday night. So congratulations to him. Then you got Boardman outside looking in, Louisville outside looking in. 2 teams that, Boardman's 4-4. It's been a tough up and down year for them because they've lost some of the games that you and I think they probably should have won.
Yeah, I hate to say this, but I just don't see the Spartans being able to get into the postseason here in 2022. Fitch coming up this week on the road, 7-1. Canfield to finish the season, they're 6-1. So
if you win one of those games, you're in.
You're in. If you could beat Fitch, which would give you mammoth points, or Canfield, which would give you the same, I think you're definitely in, because you would jump either Cleveland Rhodes or Willoughby South, who are 4-4 and 3-4. So, Boardman wins one, they're in, but I just don't see it happening. And, right now they're on the outside looking in by just 0.20 points. They're barely behind Willoughby South, who is 4-4 this year. So, Boardman kind of controls their own destiny right now. If you could win, you're in, but I don't know. It's going to be tough sledding.
So basically, the playoffs for Boardman start right now.
Yes, you got to win.
Got to win a game. Got to win a game to get in. You want extra games? You got to win one of the 2 in front of you and 2 schools that you know very well in Austintown, Fitch, and Canfield. Louisville. Oh, go ahead.
My thing with Willoughby South, they play Chardon, who is a loss. I hate to say that for Willoughby South. And then they play Riverside, who's Division 2, who beat Chardon.
Oh, boy.
So they've got 2 losses coming their way. If Boardman wins one, they're good.
They can still get points off of losses, can't they?
Who?
Like if Boardman were to lose both those games, can they still get points off a loss or no?
I don't believe so. I
I'm
only
not
think
sure how this works, to be honest with you.
I don't think so.
Okay. Let's go
Maybe
Louisville,
I think
2-6.
points, yeah.
Secondary, yeah. So 2-6 Louisville. The fact that we're talking about them right now tells you that
Yeah.
the wins that they have. And they are projected to finish 19th. So
Yeah.
they just miss out in Division 3, Region 9. So that would have been, to me, if Louisville could get in, they're not afraid of the Giants. They're not afraid of any of those big teams. And Division 3 is always already going to be a rough ride for a lot of our local teams. Louisville, you add them, and it's just house money, right?
Here's
But
my thing with Louisville, though. You got Notre Dame Cathedral Latin. If you're able to beat them, doesn't give you too many points because NDCL is having a down year. They're 2-6. Their big one comes in Week 10 when they play a 5-1 Lindsay team, who you saw earlier.
Lindsley,
When they beat Cardinal Mooney. Yeah, so they play Lindsley in week number 10. And if they're able to get a win there and then Akron East loses out, they do have a shot of jumping.
So here's the question. Lindsley has like grown men on their schedule. I mean, on the roster.
Yeah.
I don't know how many points they'll get because they don't qualify for the playoffs in West Virginia. They're out. They're a boarding school.
Really?
So they only play 10 games. Pardon me. 10 games.
Well, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Why I don't understand that. So they can't they play everybody from Ohio
Because teams from West Virginia won't play them.
because of that. So what I don't understand for those kids, like
Their
what's
kickers from like Spain. Swear
so
to God.
if you go to Lindsley, why are you playing then? Because you
'Cause
can't make the playoffs.
You're 21. I don't know. Like they look like grown men.
Oh, so they're actually like over the age of like 18 years old.
I'm pretty sure they are.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. At least that's what I was told. That's the rumor that's going around. I hate to be spreading false,
Oh my goodness. They beat Steubenville.
I'm telling you.
Holy
I'm telling you.
crap.
And Mooney should have won that game. I don't like to blame the refs. Don't like putting on the refs. The refs cost Carter Mooney that game.
I guess it all makes sense because their only loss comes to Fairmont Senior.
Which is what, another boarding school?
I'm guessing they're all 19 to 20 years old.
I mean, they're grown men, dude. I'm telling you. It looked like a college out there.
Yeah, that's actually kind of crazy. I didn't know they beat Steubenville.
So I don't know what it means for the points. When it comes to Louisville, they win that game. They could, I guess. I don't know.
If they beat them, those points are going to be massive.
I don't understand how the points work when you play teams from out of the state. I just
I don't either.
Let's get to Struthers real quick. We got 7.09 points. To me, one of the most impressive teams over the last few weeks have been the Struthers Wildcats. Yeah. Number 15 in D4 Region 13. They're projected to get to the number 13 seed. They played Girard this week, which a lot of people are just overlooking as one of the best games in this entire valley on the Week 9 schedule. And I'm here for it. I love it. Can't wait for it. Can't wait to watch it from our booth. 26 Springfield, 7.2 points. Number 9 in D7 Region 25. They got Jackson Milton at Jackson Milton this week, projected to finish number 10. So, excuse me. They're going to lose one? Who do they think they're going to lose to?
They're going to they're projecting to lose this week against Jackson Milton.
Interesting.
Who's 6-2, but they're going to beat Sebring in Week 10. So they're a guaranteed 5-win football team this year, which is going to get them in the top 16. There's been some tough seasons for a lot of these D7 schools. Right now, you've got Springfield with 7 points, and the 16 seed is 3 points. So you're automatically in pretty much. You can control your own destiny as long as if you win Week 10, which they are, they're in.
I wonder if Springfield can get a home game. That's my question.
Now
they're number 9 right now. They win this week against Jackson Milton. And then obviously you're going to win Sebring, but I mean, can they make a jump, Rich, or no?
I don't know. It'll be tough. It depends on what Matthews and Toronto do this week. We talked about Toronto. They've got a pretty manageable game against Pymatuning Valley, which I think they're going to win. And then Matthews, I think, is also going to beat Wyndham. So you look at those two schools, I think they're going to stay ahead in points. And then Springfield's not really going to get anything out of beating Sebring. So, I think that it'll be very difficult for Springfield to get a home game, but, they're going to be middle of the pack where they are going to be in the playoffs no matter what.
All right, let's finish off the 25, I guess, to 21 here. Number 25, Hubbard, 5-3 on the year, 8.05 points, listed as number 14 in D4 Region 13. They've got Niles this week projected as the 14 seed, so they're going to stay put as they're projected. Lakeside comes in at number 24, same record, 5-3, 8.28 points, number 14 in Division 2 Region 5. They've got Orange this week. Nothing against Orange, but Lakeside should have a little bit of a Disney cruise into week 10 this week. And they are projected to stay at number 14 going into the playoffs. Cardinal Mooney with a big win, number 23 at 4-4, 8.3 points, number 11 in D5 Region 17. They take on Steubenville this week, which, Rich, you already said, any team that beats Steubenville is going to get an embarrassment of riches in points. They're projected to go down to the number 13 seed.
Yeah,
is Cardinal Mooney. So I guess they're projecting Steubenville wins this one, and then maybe Ursuline beats Mooney in week 10 is what their projections are. I would have to imagine. Edgewood at 22 at 5-3. They got 8.3 points in the computer. 13 is where they're listed in D4 Region 13. They've got Kirtland this week. Good luck. God bless. Projected as the number 15 seed. So Edgewood, the Warriors, looking like they might slide down the polls a little bit, but that's a dangerous team. That would be a 15 seed if it ended, and then projections were right. Then you got United, 7-1 and number 21 for us, 8.6 points, number 10 in D6 Region 21. They've got Lisbon this week. I think a very winnable game for Coach Ogilvy and his guys, but they're listed to be the number 9. So you look at this could be a fun ride because United and Southern are going to go head-to-head in week 10, and that is going to be a big, big matchup here on the network.
For sure. And, looking at where United's placed right now, you've got Mineral Ridge, who's ahead of them by a slim margin. Mineral Ridge, they're projecting to lose to Lowville this week. And if United would take care of business against Lisbon, they would jump Mineral Ridge. And then, week 10, Mineral Ridge, I think, is going to beat Waterloo. And if United could beat Southern, they could jump all the way from 10, possibly up to 7. So this is a big stretch here for the United Eagles.
I'm excited for it. As I said, I'm here for it. We're going to take a break. We come back. The top 20, we break it down right here on your Sports Network.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, we offer a worry-free experience for all our customers. From sales to financing and even service, we'll help build your perfect vehicle
and lock in your trade value
while your vehicle is being built.
No worries.
We guarantee financing,
regardless of your situation or credit history.
No worries. And when your vehicle needs service,
our award-winning team will get you back on the road.
No worries.
That's what going the extra mile means. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Change. This one word can make you break out in a cold sweat. But with change comes wisdom, experience, and understanding. At Myers Family Insurance, we can help make changes in Medicare, insurance, and retirement a positive experience for you and your family. We've gone through changes, like our new office and new faces to help our family of clients too.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance. Check us out online at MyersFamilyINS.com or find us on Facebook.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn.
It means the world to me to know that what we're doing is impacting people. And whether it's simply, I got to watch my son or daughter when I was out of town, or we just love watching YSN. We love what you do for our son or daughter. So whenever someone says thank you or someone is appreciative of what we're doing, it tells me everyone at YSN is doing what we initially set out to do, which is shine a light on these athletes and help them kind of promote themselves. My name is Anthony Hartwig, and my sports network is your sports network.
And welcome back to the Ysn Power Hour. We're breaking down computer points. DJ Yoakley, Richie Giuliano with you, and into the top 20, Rich. Mineral Ridge listed at 7-1 in the top 20 at number 20, 9.03 points. Number 9 in D6 Region 21. They take on Lowellville this week. Another low-key, to me, barn burner, slobber knocker, whatever you want to call it. They're projected to go to number 10 in Region 21. But if they beat Lowellville, look out.
Big win. That'd be huge. I mean, if they're able to beat Lowellville, they're going to get some big time points, and they're going to be able to jump Rootstown and, possibly Brookfield if Brookfield is unable to come out victorious against Garfield. So you could see Mineral Ridge climb up to the top 7 or 6 after a big win over Lowellville this week. So, a lot is on the table for the Rams this week. I think they're still looking for that staple victory, obviously losing one to Springfield earlier this season. And, kind of a comparison to what we were talking about with Jackson Milton, only one win with a team that has a record above 500. So they're still looking to prove themselves and show to everybody, hey, we have the chance to beat some of the best big teams in our area.
All right, to 19 we go. It's 7-1 Brookfield. And again, an impressive Brookfield Warrior team. The only loss coming to Ursuline in the first game this season, right?
Yeah, first game of the season.
Incredible. Week 1, they're on a 7-game tear right now, are the Warriors. 9.5 points, number 7 in D6 Region 21. Playing Garfield, another great game that I got a lot of watching to do this weekend after it's all done. Projected to finish at number 7, so they're projected to stay right there. What do you like about Brookfield?
Oh, man, their offense with, what they've been able to do since they lost that game to Ursuline. I mean, they're scoring on average about 40 points per game and only giving up 1 touchdown. So they're playing some great football right now. You've got a guy like Randy Clark leading this team in the right direction because it's tough. After you play a Division III team like Ursuline, who's bigger, faster, and stronger than you are, a lot of high expectations coming into that game. Some people on our network even thought that Brookfield was going to beat Ursuline. So I think they were really disappointed by the way things turned out in week number 1. But what I like about this team is they did not let 1 week determine the rest of their season. They kept their head down, kept their eyes focused on the journey ahead, and they have won 7 consecutive games and have handled every single opponent that they have beat so far. So they're looking for another test to prove that they've got a chance to win in Division 6 this year. And I think Garfield is that opponent here in week number 9.
Coming in at 18, 6-2, Conneaut, 9.6 points rather. Number 9 in D5 Region 17. They take on Brooklyn this Friday at Brooklyn. And you look at where they're projected to be number 8, have a home game. That 8-9 seed, Rich, it's interesting because there's a lot there. Because the 9 seed's going to be upset that they're not the 8 seed. And I think that's where we see the majority of kind of upsets in any given year because those teams are so close together and one gets to play at home and one doesn't.
Now it's big that Conneaut will get a chance to play at home because they play Brooklyn, who's 3-5, and Harbor Creek, who's from Pennsylvania, that's 2-5. So, if the Spartans could come away with an 8-2 season, when you look at the team ahead of them, which is Ridgewood, they have Garaway waiting for them in week number 10. So if you're Conneaut, you control your own destiny right now to get that 8 seed and you take care of business. I think, things are going to fall in place and, other teams are going to take care of business so that you can get a home game in week number 1 of the playoffs.
On to 17, a team you and I both love, the Southern Indians, 7-1. Their first loss coming to Valley Christian last week, 9.6 points, number 6 in D7, Region 25. They get East Palestine this week, projected as number 4 seed. Obviously, they should cruise past East Palestine, but then they've got United on the other side. Your thoughts on the next 2 weeks for this Southern team?
Yeah, Southern, like you said, probably going to take care of business in week number 9, but week number 10 is a big game, especially because you got 2 teams looming behind you, Lucas and, Vienna Matthews, who are looking to get that number 6 seed. So we could see Southern potentially drop from what they were top 4 all the way down to 7 or 8 in the last 3 weeks of this regular season. Losing to Valley Christian is a tough one because in division number 7, every single game matters. And we've seen that with the standings this year. And with Southern, they had to win that one to remain in the top 4, and they didn't. So they dropped out, and now they're the number 6 seed. And, I think Southern, with their offense, it's very difficult to stop. We talked about this with Valley Christian, having the athletes to get the edge and set the edge so that Wyatt Morris and Noah Perfetto can't run wild on you. And I see Southern beating United in week 10. I guess I'll say that right now. That's kind of one of my picks. And I see Southern being a top 5 team in that region, number 25.
All right, I'm going to pin these next 3 together, 16, 15, and 14. Salem, Garfield, and Jefferson. Teams that I don't know why. I don't know how. People forget about them. They forget about Salem. They forget about Garfield. They forget about Jefferson. Jefferson's had a tough landing spot the last few weeks from a standpoint. I mean, anytime you got to play South Range is tough. Anytime you got to play South Range is tough. But they get Poland this week. Garfield gets Brookfield, which I think is going to be a dogfight. And Salem plays Marlington with you-know-who waiting on the other side in West Branch in week 10. Richie, are these guys just kind of floating at this point, or can one of these teams get a lot of momentum with a win this week?
Yeah, I think Salem's going to be able to cruise by Marlington, and that'll give them nice points because Marlington's a Division III school. Obviously, Salem Division 4. When you look at Jefferson, I think they have the most to gain here in week number 9. Poland is a squad since getting some guys back like Bryce Behringer, who has come out and has won 3 games in a row. They beat Lakeview in kind of that old-fashioned football game, 9-0. And if I see Jefferson beat Poland here in week number 9, that is a monumental victory before they play Lakeview, who's winnable in week 10. So you could see Jefferson losing 2 in a row to Struthers and South Range, and then they got knocked down to the 8 seed, climbing their way back up to a potential 6 seed in that region and building a lot of steam after beating 2 good NE8 opponents in week 9 and number 10. So I see Jefferson having the most to gain here in the last 2 weeks in the NE8.
All right, so I'm not going to ask you if you think Jefferson's going to be Poland, but can you see Jefferson defeating Poland with all that being said?
No, I can. Poland, offensively hasn't shown much, but defensively, Poland's really, really good, and that's their strong suit. So if Jefferson could come out, they're kind of that high-powered offense that we talked about in the first 3 weeks of the season, scoring 66 on 56. If they could come out and play their game, maybe they make an adjustment, move Hitchcock back to quarterback. We'll see. We're not a part of the coaching staff, but if they do make some adjustments, I could see them beating Poland.
Coming in at number 13, 8-0 Lowellville, 11.75 points. Number 3 in D7, Region 25. They got Mineral Ridge. I already said this game's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a good one. You're not going to want to miss it, and it's going to be on YSN this Friday night. When you look at Lowellville, they're projected to be the number 2 seed. When it's all said and done in Region 25, Richie, what can Lowellville do to just get people to start believing in the Rockets?
You're right. I mean, you would think with a top 10 quarterback in the country when it comes to like stats that people would be all over the Rockets, but they really haven't. Just because nobody believes in their strength of schedule, because they play in a tough conference. So I think Mineral Ridge, who's 7-1, this could be a big one to kind of show, hey, we put a 2-touchdown lead on Mineral Ridge. I mean, we're the real deal, because Lowellville's got Western Reserve waiting in week 10. So, this is your chance, really. And To be honest, I think we're gonna have to wait to the playoffs until Louisville has to show if they're legit or not, because they're gonna have to play a Southern, they're gonna have to play a JFK, a Springfield, those three teams that we are familiar with around this area to kind of prove, hey, we've been here this entire season, but everybody's overlooked us.
I think this week's going to be a big test for them. I don't know why. I know people will say, well, this team beat this team and this beat. I got a feeling, man. And I'm going to talk to the Ridge boys tomorrow, and they've been talking about it for a couple of weeks now. So I think this is going to be a big test for Louisville this week, and maybe they get some valuable people points, power of the people this week if they beat Mineral Ridge. The next two we're going to pair together as well, because you got 6-2 Beaver Local, 5-3 Poland, separated by hundredths of a computer point right now. And you got Beaver Local number 6 in D4 Region 13, Poland number 5 in D4 Region 13. Poland has Jefferson. Beaver Local has Cleveland John Hay. And Poland is picked to finish number 6.
Yes.
Beaver Local picked to finish number 3. What's going on here?
Okay, I would probably say the opposite.
Okay.
I think Beaver Local, I love their squad. I love what they've done the last 4 or 5 weeks or so with some good victories over Harrison Central, as well as that Kaiser team from West Virginia. But the John Hay team, who's 7-1 in Division II, is really going to be a difficult challenge. And then you finish off the season with Wheeling Central Catholic. I get they're smaller, they're D7 comparison to Ohio, but they are 6-0. They're a week behind over there in West Virginia. They're 6-0 right now in their respective areas. So we'll see. I think a lot of the computer points are thinking they're going to take care of a Division 7 team, and because that team's 6-0, they're going to get some points out of that. I think they're also projecting Beaver Local to beat this John Hay team, who's 7-1 this season. When you look at John Hay, they're kind of comparable to a couple of MVAC schools we have around here, because John Hay has not played and beaten a team with a record over 3 wins.
Gotcha.
So they're projecting Beaver Local to beat John Hay, which would give them unbelievable points, playing up 2 divisions and beating a Division II school that only has 1 loss in week 9. So, now that I dive deeper into it, I started off saying I'm going the other way. I'm going to have to go back into the direction of where we're projected. Beaver Local going up to number 3.
Beaver Local playing their best football right now. So it'll be interesting to see this Friday what they can do to John Hay. All right, into the top 10 we go. It's the God bless Valley Christian, the War Eagles, the American Patriots themselves. The Valley Christian Eagles at 12.75 points, number 3 in D6 Region 21. They got Wellsville this week at Wellsville, which is it's a test. It's going to be a test. Wellsville has some athletes, and it could be one of those trap games for Valley after coming off a very physical game against Southern. They just got to stay disciplined, stay on the right task, and they should be up to the task. Drew Pastor has them dropping down to number 4. So I don't know who he has them losing to or who he has jumping the D6 Region 21 market, but Valley Christian is supposed to go down a spot, or at least projected to. So that's interesting to me.
He's got Dalton beating Norwayne, who's 6-2. So right now, when you look at the current average, you got Dalton, who has a total of 11.96 points. Valley Christian has 12.75. So if Dalton does win in week 9, they're going to get probably 2 or 3 points out of that win because of who they're playing. So they would jump Valley Christian, who plays Wellsville and Palestine, that have combined 4 wins.
Yeah.
So that's where that strength of schedule comes in. It's kind of crazy that a 10-0 team is going to be number 4 in Division 6, because I don't see Valley losing here in week 9 or week 10.
It's crazy. I don't see them losing either, but it's not helping them play in a couple. I mean, it's we say it all the time. It's the MVAC kind of, looking at the schedule. There was a few years ago that Springfield did not make the playoffs, and they were 9-1.
Yeah.
So tough skating. Edison coming in number 9, 8-0 as well. 13.70 points. Number 4 in D5 Region 17. They got Buckeye Local this week. They're projected to finish number 5 overall. And then we go to Girard at 8. They're 6-2, still hanging in there. They're number 2 in Division 4, Region 13. They've got a task with Struthers this week, projected to finish as the number 2, so not a whole lot of movement they're expecting out of the Indians. 2 West Branch at number 7, 7-1, 15.83 points. Number 1 in D4 Region 13. Uh-oh.
What happened?
I just lost my monitor. I got nothing.
I'll take it away for us.
All right.
West Branch, who you said number 7 right now, ranked in our poll here. They're going to finish as the number 1 seed. They've got West Branch beating Carrollton, which would be a big win, and then you got Salem. So, if Carrollton and Salem, they knock them off, you're guaranteed to clinch that number 1 seed in the next 2 weeks. I'll go on with Cheney. Cheney's number 6. They're going to play Warren Harding. They're projected to finish as the number 4 seed and region number 9. I think that's fair. I think they'll take care of Warren Harding this week. Then we move to JFK. JFK's 5. They're 6-1. They had that bye. They did not play their one game that they were scheduled to. They will play Cleveland Central Catholic, Tri-C, a team that we've seen before in non-conference play. They are projected to still finish as the number 1 seed in that region. That's D7, DJ. And, JFK, because of their win against Perkins, they're 6 points ahead of the number 2 seed. JFK could lose to both Cleveland Central Catholic and Southeast and still be the number 1 seed in that region.
Dude, this is you get into this top 10 and it's just war. You know what I mean? These are teams that have been at war all season long. As much as we talk about the teams that don't get to play the teams, you look at the top 10 in this and look at from 1 to 10, the teams that have played up the entire year and have an incredible record for it. Incredible. Look at Ursuline up there.
Oh, yeah. Ursuline's next. They're number 4, projected to finish number 3 because of their strength of schedule. People might be saying, well, why is Cheney, who's probably going to finish at 9-1 behind Ursuline, who's going to be a 2-loss team? That's because Ursuline's losses come to both Division II Austintown Fitch and Division II St. Vincent St. Mary. So their strength of schedule gets them over the top to be the number 4. Canfield number 3. They're probably going to finish number 2. They've got Howland and then Boardman to finish the year. So they're probably going to finish 8-1, and there will be 2nd in Region 9. Austintown Fitch is one of our big teams. That was a huge win over Wadsworth. They're going to play Boardman. We talked about that. They're projected to finish as number 3 and number 5. Region 5 is one of the best in all of Northeastern Ohio football. Archbishop Hoban, Hudson, Riverside, St. Vincent, St. Mary.
Austintown Fitch.
And Austintown Fitch. Sprinkle them in the top 3. So very excited to see what they do in the next couple of weeks. When you look at Fitch, could beat Boardman, should beat Harding, and they should be number 3 in that region.
And then
we got your boys, the voice of the Raiders here.
South Range Raiders.
Number 1, I don't see them moving anywhere. South Range, they're 22 points, so they are 6.25 points ahead of Garraway, who's behind them. They're going to beat Lakeview. Even if they do drop to Hubbard, which I don't see happening, they would still be the number 1 seed on region number 17. So I think your Raiders are pretty much locked in as the number 1 seed in that region. And, who will they play? That's a question mark. It could be Liberty. It could be Champion. It could be Lakeview. It could be Crestwood. There's kind of 4 or 5 teams right now in the balance waiting for the big dog in week 1 of the playoffs.
Let me tell you something, man. We're getting real close to Yokomania season. When Yokomania comes out with the headband and the armbands and the ripped shirt, like we're gonna go Yokomania for playoffs. And I'm so excited about Raider Mania right now because it's running wild. Everybody's catching it. Last night we were at Legends and Raider Mania is running wild, brother. This whole show's had like a WWE taste to it.
I know.
I can't see anything or click anything, so I'm flying blind here, my friend.
I got you. So we're at an hour on the dot. I mean, we just did every single team that has a chance. doesn't have a chance, unfortunately, in our YSN rankings. And, I think that we are due for a couple of state qualifiers this year across the board in a couple different divisions and regions.
I want to see it. Who do you think, and I don't want to get tip the cap at all, but who do you think has the best shot? Teams not named South Range, because we'll just make it fair.
Honestly, I think that JFK's got a great shot.
Oh, that's a good one.
I mean, Southern and Lowville, you're going to have to beat, but one of those two teams is going to knock one another out before you get to what would be that regional final. And then, you look at Division 6, very difficult. I think another team that has an unbelievable shot to win their region is West Branch.
I was just going to say that. You stole my thunder, Rich.
They've been battle tested. I mean, you almost beat one of the best teams in D3 in Canfield, lose by 4. You beat a team in D3 in Alliance, who's a top 5 team in that region. Their Division 3 beat them 42-35. So, I really like West Branch's odds where they're not going to have to play a Girard, a Woodridge, or Northwest until that regional final game. So if I'm going to pick anybody, it's going to be West Branch outside of South Range.
I like it. That's a great pick, my friend. Hey, put a bow on this and let's take it home.
All right, let's get the outro set here. I got to find it. I'm like you right now. I'm searching for outros, but
I'm looking at a blue screen.
We appreciate everybody tuning in. It's been a fun one, talking some volleyball, soccer, and then some football here today. We appreciate everybody. We're going to have a lot of live games on the network tonight, so be sure to stay on the website, visit our live games tab, and we're going to have a couple of volleyball matches and I believe 5 soccer matches on the docket tonight. For DJ and Richie, we will talk to you again. We got our super show coming up Friday, 3 o'clock. Tune in then.